Okay, aloha everybody. It's just me at the moment. Karen says she's trying to get on StreamYard. She forgot it was a pain and she has to read out. Wait, no, here she is. Here she is. Here she is. Wait, there she goes. I see her. Here we are. I'm going to let her sit down. I can see her, but she's almost there. Here we are. All righty.
Headphones.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay? Because they always want headphones and I don't have them.
No, yeah, I agree. Headphones to me actually seem to make things worse. Are you hearing me okay? Usually I'm really, really loud on these things.
No, everything's good.
Yay! Well, welcome so much. We've already got our posse in the chat rolling in. And you guys, thank you all for joining me today on Solstice. I've got chicken skin all over right now. I'm so excited to be back. And I'm even more excited to announce my very special guest, Karen Rontowski. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure. It's been a day. It's been like reading after reading after reading, but I made it.
Yeah, you made it. And you look fabulous. And there's there's so many people in the chat. We had folks coming in. They actually beat me here. Susie Gemini came in a half an hour ago. Ginger Faye is here. New subscriber, Jake Tay. My brother on Maui, Jonathan Daly. And I think there was somebody else. Let me see. Jeffrey Smith, of course, my brother in Dallas. How could I forget him? So yes, and we already, and here's Gigi. Hi, Gigi. Gigi Nilsson is here. I'm going to pop you up because you just got in the chat. Welcome. And here's the man. Karen, let me introduce you to Gerald at Tarot Stash. He is an amazing, amazing gentleman. You will have to check out his channel sometime. He has more fun than anybody I know on YouTube. So here we are today, and we are talking about life as mediums. And I'm going to give you the stage, Karen, to introduce yourself and let folks know, how did you become a medium?
Well, I actually am going to call myself a baby medium because I have been a tarot reader for, I would say, 30 years. And I have a tarot class up. And for those of you that don't know my podcast or anything, I spent my life making a living as a stand-up comedian. But every time I got a reading from someone, they always said, you're a medium, you're a medium, you're a medium. So I might be really fun to interview in that mediumship experiences just started happening. In fact, they're happening like every day now. And you and I had also talked about crossing people over. And I think I did that the other day. I hope they're not stuck.
Oh, this is so exciting. Okay, so I'll catch all the room up. So Karen recently relocated from the West Coast to the East Coast, and there is in her new place a gentleman with a hat, a dark man with a hat on, right? And remind me, what name did he give us to call him? I've forgotten already.
He said Augie, and it was very. Yes, because I had seen him and I didn't tell you. And then you kind of tapped into him. And what was interesting, part of my false eyelash, folks, I had like 2 minutes to get ready. And these eyelashes are overdue. They're too old. So I need to just get new ones, but I've been so busy. I knew he was hanging around and nothing was scary. And then one day you sent me an email out of the blue and you were saying how he said, that he was trying to usher in. There were a group of women that were part of a religious group or something like that, which is unbelievably common where I live right now in Utica. That was the one thing I could not believe how haunted or crazy Utica is. It's most boring in regular life, but in the next dimension, it's fabulous. And you said the women got lost. And it was funny because I had another friend that I had asked her about the guy in my place. And she said, all she said was, he's going to bring you souls to cross over. So I sort of did. I had a reading from a shaman many years ago, and she said, you're more of a comedian than a tarot reader, which was, I was like, really? Because I'm making a lot, you know what I mean? I was like, really? Because that's what I'm doing. And she had told me a way to do it. So the other day I sat down with my candle and I could see them, and I did it the way she told me. So, but I think you had nailed it. You sort of gave it the extra oomph that I needed to go forward and do it.
Cool. So, so how many souls did you perceive, or did? I'm just so excited now for all this. I want to know all the details.
I felt like it was somewhere around 18, and I felt like they didn't. I understand you. This is what it looked like to me. They didn't have a lot to say because, as you had pointed out, they were still lost. And he was more like, go here, go here. So I kind of showed them that way to the light. And one of them popped her head back out and was like, and I was like, no, that's right. That's right. Go there. But they sort of were, it was funny because they seemed like a group and they didn't speak individually. Like, I don't know what kind of it had been, but I felt like they weren't supposed to talk or something like that. And almost like one was hanging on the back of another, like, where do we go? We can't see, kind of like that. And then they all went up. But I believe Augie stayed. And then it's even weirder because since then, today even somebody came in like that, and it's a very, very different way that they're coming in for mediumship that I'm actually that probably you know more about than I do. It's an immediate picture comes into my head of this person, just like that, and then it just drops in and it doesn't go.
Well, see, I told you this before. I am so jealous of your clairvoyance. I've tried to work on mine. I'm getting there. And I always say I don't have it. But then when I'm doing a reading, I find myself going, why am I seeing this and that? And so it's there, and I'm just, yeah. So, oh, that's so cool. So Augie stayed. I remember after we had been talking about this offline, guys, and all my guides, everybody was talking about how good Karen was going to be at helping souls cross over. And when we signed off, she said, okay, I'm going to go for it. And then I heard Augie screaming in my ear, don't cross me yet. So I think he wants to stay for a little while to just, he's going to help you and he's going to help them. So this is like a win for everybody. Oh, wait, here's something. There's a little comment from Gerald. Your eyes are so beautiful. You don't need the eyelashes, in my humble opinion.
I do, but I need to put them on correct.
Well, this kind of group here, we won't mind if you decide you have to peel them off halfway around.
I've done that on many live streams.
Here's Jackie Jacaranda. I didn't see her come in, but I saw somebody else. Welcome her. Hi, Jackie. Thanks so much for joining us. And now once I settle down and the chatter dims down, we will be opening up the chat for your queries. We're going to be doing spirit communication, so spirit guides and we ghosties. So you guys get ready with your comments and questions on this kind of thing. And if you want to ask us any questions too, feel free. For myself or Karen, are you willing to field questions?
I'm like I said, I don't know. This would actually be more of a test run for me. I'll do the best I can, but also I brought my deck in case anybody, because I do actually think sometimes you can do medium just through the deck. Yeah.
I have 4. So Karen and I are both RWS girls. I don't think I've ever told you that, but that's my deck. But I have my angel cards. This saved my bacon in Sedona with all the walk-in people that were getting their obligatory 20-minute reading that would sit down and refuse to communicate. Then I have my little deck here. This was another one of my tricks in Sedona, that if somebody wouldn't talk, I made them pull a chakra card. because if I could figure out what chakra they were talking about, they were dealing with, then I could find a problem or a comment. And then I also have, since we're talking with spirits, the Konsari cards that was a Christmas present from Brother Jonathan. So just in case, sometimes I just touch the deck. I don't even have to pull it. But I'm prepared too, and I thought you'd get a kick out of that. So
I see, because I teach a Patreon. This is a plastic deck, which is because it doesn't glare like the other deck. So, but it's very slippery. Like I used to use this at, I used to use this at night when in a play. I used to read for this some guy in Hollywood, and they were very slippery, but they were always spilling drinks on my cards. So I may jump up and get my other ones when we do this.
Okay. So you started you've been reading cards for 30 years. And were you always interested, even from little small kind days when you were a kid? Yeah.
Always came into life believing in all this. Like, I don't know why, but it was like from the youngest age, I just believed everything. And I'm still to this day surprised when I meet people that don't believe everything. I don't know, you know what I mean? But yeah, I can't remember. I don't know why, but it's very funny because I've had 3 different psychics tell me. The first 2 told me in a past life I was in the circus, and the third one said, I don't know, I don't believe in past lives, but you should be working in the circus. So I'm wondering if I was a reader in the circus.
Gerald says anyone else already feeling the energy? Whoop, whoop. Yes, Gerald gives me chicken skin all the time. Gerald can be in the chat room and I can feel like he's sitting beside me. He is really powerful and in all the best of ways. And just so you know, Karen, Gerald was supposed to be going live at the top of the hour with his partner, Jamie, from Wandering Bardic Mountain Path. And they postponed a half an hour so they could come and join us.
Oh, thank you.
I know. Is that sweet? Okay. So focus. Sorry, guys. I'm just so excited. Focus. So you maybe were in the circus in a prior life. I'm going.
Always tarot cards, ghost stories, whatever. Always been into it. Always.
So how old were you when you got your first deck?
I was in my 20s because I didn't have that stuff as a kid. I think I had the unexplained books, and my parents really weren't into it. I remember getting witchcraft books, which I don't consider myself a witch at all. I think witches are way more organized than I am. You know, like they do like spells and knowing that it's solstice and all that stuff. So I don't even want to disrespect the name by that. But I remember reading those books as a kid and showing them to my mom, and she was okay with them. But I didn't really know about tarot cards until I went to see a tarot reader who I still consider to be my teacher in my 20s. And she always said, you should get a deck. And that's where it started.
We'll do that in a minute. Yeah, so you got a deck in your 20s and started. And how long before you started doing like public readings? Because for me, I just only was very cautious to talk to friends and family until I was in my 50s.
Wow. Well, it's funny because I would, because I was living most of my life on the road doing comedy, I would do them after the show. I would just be working with people after the show. And then even before I started doing it as like a business, oddly enough, I brought the cards on stage and started doing, I have a show, it's called Psychic Stand Up, where it's at a comedy club and I do a half an hour stand up and then I do that. And now I think back and I was like, what were you doing? Like, I just went on stage with them and was like, this is how we're doing it. And I think at that time, I was probably more interested in jokes than psychic stuff. And then it just all worked. So I think I, oddly enough, went on stage in front of strangers before I even had a business.
Wow. Oh, that is brave. But you're brave anyway to be on stage. So it doesn't surprise me a whole heck of a lot. So let's talk a little bit then about the mediumship. because I remember when I first discovered your podcast a year or something ago. I remember hearing you talk with some of your guests and saying that you didn't think you were a medium, but you thought there was intuition coming through during your readings, and it was happening more and more. So, and what surprises me is because there's a lot of folks that are here in the chat that do the same thing when they're doing a reading with cards, is that information is coming through as well. And these people all pretty much say they're not a medium. I myself always find it hard to believe because I think people are channeling. So what was it that made you kind of make the leap?
Well, it's a couple of things, but I do have to say, so I figured it was coming, right? Or it is coming. But it's funny because I think sometimes it's weird, but it's like out of respect. I don't want to say, "Oh, I'm a medium," when I know you're a great medium. Which way am I pointing? So it's like, I'll let you know when I'm a medium. And so, but it started to, and I always think mediumship and channeling are two different things, because I know that I always feel like I'm channeling a lot, and I started doing this thing where I would just close my eyes and just say what came through. But I always feel like a medium is speaking to a person that is dead and interacting. And I think that's where I'm going now, because I do think the channeling really started to happen probably 2 years ago. But now, and you did this, so I have your book, which is excellent, but also you sent me this whole email. I really think you tripped off something like literally last week that is now, I think I've had like 3 meetings, like just popping in like this. And I wouldn't have had the guts to do the crossover if I hadn't talked to you. Aloha.
That's Jamie. Yeah.
But you said to have a declaration. And so I sat down and I said what I want to do. And then I sort of went back to my old school, which is just drop into white light and just stay there, just be quiet, right? And then you then faces just come in. And then it twice now, I think in the last, no, now 3 times in the last 2 days, somebody has come in, just a face, and I go, all right, this is just what I see. Old man looks like he's in seeing the Grateful Dead with this hat on. Oh, that's my friend. He just died the other day. So they're here. They're this close.
Cool. That is so cool. And so the declaration, so we were talking about, because Karen has done quite a lot of paranormal investigation. And so you guys know when doing these things, you get all kinds of stuff. In my mind, during those things, it's mostly like the 4th dimension. What I imagine is the 4th dimension of crossed over souls and lower level entities. Lower level, or I don't want to label it, maybe not benevolent, maybe mischievous, and then out and out, no good nicks, big, dark, right? So, when we first started talking about this stuff, and Karen actually hosted me on her podcast about a year ago, that came up so strongly for me in our conversation. I kind of got stuck on that, and I couldn't leave the space of the concern about ushering in bugaboos. So, and just recently we did talk about doing this kind of work. It's a volunteer position. You get to set the rules. So the declaration that Karen was mentioning was having the conversation with your spiritual team about why you're doing this, what you want to do, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, and be really clear and specific about it. And I myself think it's really helpful, because that's already a first step in drawing boundaries before you even step into an energy space and request company with beings. So did you also do a prayer, a clearing prayer?
Yes, and I feel like there's a couple of things because people, my original, so there was tarot, and then my original work was paranormal, and I work with someone very closely, and we actually help people when they have negative hauntings in their house. So that kind of, I'm pretty good at that. I
Excellent.
do. Yeah, and so I'm, in fact, and I even said to you, some of the worry about doing mediumship, because I didn't know what it was like, is that I'm used to people being tricked into stuff coming in, or tricked into their, or, not thinking and using a Ouija board. So my original teacher is always from the point of caution. Everything is from the point of caution.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that's why I felt like to go at this that way. They have a little desk. I just moved up here. I'm renting a furnished apartment. They have a little desk that's almost a little kid's desk. And then I just put a white candle in there, and I sit in there and I meditate short periods of time, put the candle out, leave. And I think that small amount of focus has caused me to make sure this place is filled with light, and it is not accessible to everybody. That's the first rule. And also, people only can come in when invited. And that's when, even right before my reading, people will come in through that. Also, just out of habit, um, I always at night have a diffuser running with lavender oil in it, because that's one of the first things we tell people if there's activity in the house is you always want lavender oil, or you want frankincense, that kind of thing. All those things just keep the activity calm. You don't want like vanillas or stuff like that. That's very antagonizing smell. So I always kind of am setting the boundaries here, especially since I read here too.
Cool.
Did I answer that?
You did answer that. No, that was great. So I'm going to, at this moment, say we're coming up on the top of the hour. So guys, get ready with your queries. And everyone knows my mod skills are the worst. So I'm going to suggest all caps so I can find you again. So go ahead and get ready and post your inquiries. And again, we're going to be talking to spirit guides and mediumships. So the wee ghosties, your friends and family, pets. We can do that too. And here's Jake. He's already popped in. So let's do this. Let's do a real quick check in, a grounding, and I'm going to say my clearing prayer out loud if anybody else wants to do theirs too. But let's just take a minute, everyone, close eyes. Take a little inhale breath as you fill up your inner body with light. And now let's send that light down. We're on an exhale. Push that down to the core of the earth and ask Mother Earth to come and protect us, to either send her light up through us, or if you like to see the roots, ask her to wrap her roots around us to protect us with her. Everybody's doing really good at this. I'm stumbling because I got a hot flash because somebody's energy is coming through really strong. So let's just all imagine we are all connected to Mother Earth. Everybody's doing really well. Now we will call in Father Sky. So again, we'll take some of that energy and send it up to the heavens and ask Father Sky to join with us as he sends his energy down through us, all down our spines, down to the tips of our toes. And I'm going to send out another sphere of energy, of protection energy for us all around. I see who that person is for me. Everyone else is welcome to bring their own protective guide in. As I say my prayer, Mother, Father, Goddess, and God, we thank you for your presence with us now as you are with us always. We demand that any negative energy in the space be gone now to the light and its highest good. And we ask that any teachers or guides that come to share their wisdom with us do so now in the beauty way only. We believe and trust in the truth and power of this moment, and so it is. All righty. Very nice, guys. I'm going to try and go up here and find Jake's question.
And if anyone's guides can recommend a good false eyelash, I'm open.
Oprah always swore by some from Walgreens, right?
I don't know. I was running so fast. I don't know what happened to my day. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Jake wants to know, is there anything from spirit or my higher self that I need to know? I'm being asked to hold up this my chakra deck, and I already know what card it is in here for you, Jake. It's the Soul Star card. Okay. And what they're telling me right now. Karen, do you have anything yet, or do you mind me just rambling?
You ramble and then I'll come in. I pulled 3 cards for him.
All right. So what they're telling me is, why are you not believing in yourself? And they're almost giving me like with this, the finger, the tisk, tisk, tisk. Why are you not believing in yourself? There is something about your power. And I wanted to say ability, and they said, no, we told you to say power. There's something about your power that hasn't completely clicked in yet. They just showed me a belt around the waist, and you need to tighten the belt 1 notch. That's only as far away from it as you are. I feel like you already think you're there, and they say there's a little further to go for you about this. And it could be that it's a little bit of a balancing act at this point. Where you are tapped in with your spirit communication, you're seeing it maybe a little more of an either or. You're either in the 3D or you're in the spirit, and they want you to get even on both ends, if that makes sense. And now I'm supposed to let Karen take over.
Well, first of all, go with Betsy. That was great. And second of all, I pulled some cards for you that went like this: World, 5 of Pentacles, and 3 of Swords. Okay, in this order. There we go. Sorry. And what I'm reading here, when I read the World card, sometimes the World card will come up when there's something that we're not letting end, or we're taking a long time to have it end. And you're welcome to post in the comments if I didn't hit this right, but there's something that is supposed to be ending that I kind of want you to finish quicker, or it's going to drag on and it's really just going to kind of hurt worse.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, Jay, let us know. I'm told not to say anything else until prompted. So I'm going to take this. No, I'm going to leave it up, and I'm going to see if there's anything else. Pop it in the comments real quick if you need to. Before I take this down, or I'll get lost. I'm already lost. Karen, I used to be terrified of that Pentacle card, and it's now come to be one of my favorites. I used to get it all the time, and it always made me so sad. But now I see it as those 2 people are walking by that warmly lit building by choice.
Yep. Yeah. You know what else is funny about this card? I was reading for this woman, and all her cards are great, and I cannot figure out where this fits in. And it keeps coming up and it keeps coming up, and I can't figure out. And finally I say, "What do you do for a living?" And she said, "I sell orthopedics." That's right. Like, no wonder. And it was her job, and it wasn't like something bad. It was like, oh, you sell there you go.
I love that. So, okay. So Jim said that makes sense. Cool. All right. And I'm going to now go up to the top and see if I can find who was next. Oh, wait. Gigi has a question about oils. Is there an alternative to lavender?
Yes. So there's anything you just don't want to go sweet. You don't want to go vanillas, or cinnamon is for psychic stuff. So that's more activating. Right now, vanilla scents are they're very, very good. If you can do a frankincense, or I'm trying to think one other one that's really good. Just think not sweet, more like settling flora. Frankincense, myrrh, those are a little expensive. Rosemary.
I love rose geranium. That's one of my very favorites. Okay. And here we are. And Susie was the next one right beneath Gigi.
Hi, Susie.
Susie Gemini, any message from spirit for me? I know where, yeah, there's a message. They're sending me over to my Healing with the Angels, one of my only anti-Doreen deck. One of these days, we're going to find out what happened to her, right?
You know, I have a vibe on that, but it's very. Please. She was always a love and lighter, which is great. But I, again, come from the paranormal field. And I think sometimes when people deny the dark side, it can come back. And I think she got tricked. And then she, you know how she got rid of everything and then went immediately to Christianity? Like I interviewed someone that was actually channeling a demon. Sorry, everyone. And I may rip these eyelashes off, but they said I said, why was Mother Teresa, did she become possessed in the end? And they said, because she thought she was all love and light. And we were like, no, you have a shadow side and we're going to show it to you. So I think she was a little bit of a dark side denier. And people I know that worked with her said she never did protection.
Oh, goodness.
But that's my theory.
Well, there you go. There you go. How can you imagine how strong a person would need to be to have a career such as hers without ever using protection and stay okay for so long?
Well, you know what? Yeah, I have the big ego. I'm in show business. I have the big ego. I think I'm always the opposite of trying to make sure I don't get tricked because I know I have a show business ego, you know?
Wow.
I'm very aware of my shadow side and I'll put it right out there for everyone.
Okay. So can I make an admission on that one too? I think the reason I didn't do anything with my abilities until so late in life is because of that very reason. Because I'm a quadruple Leo. I would have been insufferable after 5 years of celebrity. Yes. I would have been, oh my God. Oh my
God. I shouldn't say yes, like I know, but I know what you're saying. I know what, yeah. It's very easy. It's that comedy is a very hard life. So it keeps you humble. But I was always like, you always got to stay that way.
So even amid the banter, Susie, your guides have come through. And because I have seen you guys in the chats for so long, I know we get general readings a lot. So these guys wanted to go a little deeper for you on this because the first thing I got for you was a card about intentions and third eye chakra, which I knew it was blue when I was shuffling this deck. I knew it was a blue one. And I'm a little bit surprised it's third eye and not throat. But I can see how these two go together because I think what we need to do is get this intention. We need to bring in some wand energy. We need to get some action going, meaning you need to start speaking your truth about some of this process. Some of the things, some of the newer developments that are happening for you that you haven't begun speaking about out loud, they want you to start speaking about. So I guess that means you're going to have to guest on my channel and it's time for you to talk about this. And I would like you to add something in on the bottom of the chat after Karen has her go.
So I got very interesting. You got the Lover's card, then the Magician card, then the High Priestess card, which these two together really about, sorry, I'm doing this backwards. The Magician and the High Priestess. Thank you. These two I don't know where the camera is on my thing. Okay. Very much about your magic. Okay. Which is very funny that you were saying intuition because this is very, very much about your magic right now. And actually, I do love the balance of male and female. And you're talking about the balance here and here. And also the lover's card, which is the card of being discriminating. So exactly what she was saying, being discriminating and putting all this out there. Like, I kind of want to say, have you been too, I want to use that word discriminating, but it feels a little awkward or clunky right now. But I kind of want to agree with what she's saying, which is you don't have to, but just put it out there. You already know what you want to say or how to say it. So it's now just to do. But this right here is about as powerful combination as you're going to get about your magic.
Yeah. So, Susie, let us know in the chat when you're free to guest on my channel, and we can continue the conversation. And also the guides are calling you out, Karen. They want you to take a moment and step down deeper into your psychic awareness, because they have something for you to share with the gang that's not in the cards.
There was something when you were doing your prayer that came in immediately, and it was a nurse, and she would be in her 80s. A nurse.
Oh.
This is just a person. It was a person, and she was a nurse, and she would probably be in her 80s now, but I don't know if she would be somebody's mom or somebody that has a nurse that it's almost weird. She must have just passed, because I almost feel like the mom, it's weird because I almost feel like the mom is still alive, but that's what I have. That was what first came to me when, I don't know if anyone can take that.
Yeah. So you got a nurse that came through that you think just recently passed. And what was the second part about it?
She'd probably be in her 80s.
Okay. So you guys in the group, let us know in the chat if any of that resonates for anybody. I'm going to pop up our next inquiry, and I'm going to go down and look in the bottom. Keep an eye. Oh, wait, hang on. We have to, Susie says, let's get this up here. Thank you. I know what your message is, and I am floored. My tarot birth card is the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician. I have only one fire placement in my chart. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, so we'll talk about when you're going to guest on my channel. Now I'm going to have to try and find my question again. I'll find it. It just takes me a minute. Oh, yes. And Gerald reminds us, for entertainment purposes only. Thank you. I always forget that. Oh, and Gerald also noticed I sell orthopedics. Yeah, that was indeed wonderful. And okay, here we are. Here's our next question from my brother in Dallas, Jeff. Any messages from my mom and family? Even when I read this, I knew what I got. So I'm just going to blurt it out. Unless, Karen, do you have anything?
I have to go to the cards right now, but if that's okay, I'll go to the cards.
Yeah, I'm going to, well, I think you might even be able to wait for just a moment and let me blurt. So messages from mom and family. Now, Jeff is a friend of mine, so I know he was recently with his family in a big group family setting. But what they're telling me is this, that this whole word tribe, the whole notion of being with your tribe, it resonates with so many people. We've all said it how many times, my tribe, my tribe, my tribe. But they're showing that even though you were just with this group that most people would recognize as your tribe, your blood tribe, you've never felt like you have found your place with them. And this is no surprise to you. But this is a message for all of us here, really. So just going to have to step aside for a minute and let the guides talk to the bigger audience. Is those of us that are in touch with these realms, we are not going to necessarily feel like we have found our group, our life group, because number one, and I was told this in the early 90s, they need to spread us out. We can't all be in this little cluster in one place. If we're going to do our work, if we're going to help the world as we're meant to, they've got to spread us out. So the population is less dense, because you're over there and you're over there and she's up there and he's out there. Everybody's got their place. So that being that, but also just now, this is for Jeff. he's like the Skywalker, the Flow Master. These were his nicknames for himself years ago. But because Jeff has the ability to see where people are supposed to be going, or their intention lines, he calls them their purpose lines, their intention lines, and if they're following those lines or not, sometimes he can get a little bit mired down in this. So what we want to do is step away from that. We want to step away from that. And your family wants to give you the freedom of releasing you from any kind of expectation of achievement for yourself or anyone else. They want you to be completely untethered and free of any association with expectations for success. They want you, they are giving you 100% freedom to be the free spirit that you are now for the rest of your time here. And they want you to really take this in and absorb it into your being, assimilate it into your core, up and down your spinal column, in through your nervous system. They want you to receive this now. And that's it for me, guys.
Thanks, team. It was great. I was listening to it, so I apologize. I don't have anything for mom and family, but I was listening to your message, and it was great.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, would you like to add anything, though, if cards or anything else?
Oh, man. This is one of my favorite cards, okay? Because I call this Success Abandon, where you see all the cards are upright. So this isn't a loss, but this is also the card of very, very sensitive people, which is exactly what Betsy was talking about with your family. And here is the thing. If you do feel alone, what I love about this card, this guy's going out into the darkness because he needs more knowledge. He knows more. So that is probably exactly what Betsy was talking about, which was separating. And then, of course, the card, don't worry. This card is about worrying about what's not going to happen. So don't worry if you don't feel like you're connecting. I actually feel like you are, and you may be more connected than you know. And once you take that information, you don't have to feel a certain way that we feel like we're supposed to feel a certain way, and we never do. Or even like TV has made us feel like we're supposed to feel like this with our family, and we don't. So taking it for what it is really just, you can find love and joy in that. There is going to be a point later, I feel like, where I don't know how else to say this, but it's almost like you'll understand your place there in a good way when someone needs help.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. All right. And Jeff did pop in down here. Psychic nail gun. Bora 33 popping in to say hi, happy solstice to everyone. Okay, cool. Thanks for popping in. Okay, let me come back up here because Gerald is next. I'll find it. Oh, no, I lost it. See, this is what I'm talking about. Here we are. My mod skills. Which spirit guide will help me develop my mediumship channeling abilities? When I saw this before I pulled it up, Karen, do you have anything before I just interrupt you and bulldoze?
I actually got a female that looked like there was no bottom, like almost, how a djinn would just have smoke, but she wasn't a djinn. But she looked more Indian to me, like a Buddhist female, and she was blue.
Oh, dig it. Well, interestingly enough, I have Persephone hollering at me because Persephone wants you to accompany her when she's in the upper crust. She's instead of down below, when she's in the upper crust, she wants you to accompany her when she's out there tripping around visiting friends and family on Earth, which is really intriguing to me. And I trust Gerald knows exactly what we mean by this. And I love the image of the blue genie. Wow, that could.
I get very strange images like that.
No,
I
you got. I'm
usually
going. Got to
Google
stop
them.
calling them strange. I call them beautiful. Start calling them beautiful.
Google that later, and usually someone will come up with a name. You'll be like, "Oh, that's the Indian goddess of this or that."
Yeah, and so we both got female energy on this. It does to me feel like it's Gerald's a really well balanced person, but this is like a step into a little bit more of a sensitivity. Oh, so it's a protection, a little bit of protection they're talking about here. Because even within the community where you are, with a lot of really open-minded people, that there's certain levels of emotional sensitivity. There's like this line not to be crossed, that if a man crosses this line into this level of sensitivity, there is some kind of connotation that isn't sitting well with you. So, and so what they're saying is now is ask your team to help you find that middle ground, to just redefine the language about what that is, and ask them to switch the message to make it something that's more comfortable for you to deliver. Because it's not that there's anything wrong with the information. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's just coming through so soft and fluffy that it's feeling quite unnatural for you. So ask them, identify what this is with them, have this conversation, and ask them to tweak the language to make it to where it's more genuine for you to be able to communicate to others. Yeah? Let us know if that makes sense.
You know
see.
I just was pulling cards while you were talking, and then this is his other card. And I want to use the word, it's a little bit, this is such a strange word, but I'll put it, it's a little bit of a seductive energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna check the bottom here in a minute, but I'm gonna put Gigi. She was next in the line. I'm gonna put her up here, but I'm gonna pop down and see if Gerald had anything to say here. It's about adjusting the dials to tune it in better. And I did see in the chat he said that he knew both of these entities quite well already. So, and I believe that completely. So yeah, it's just about tweaking your agreement on language. For me, the language, I had to ask them to speak English. Otherwise, it wasn't doing any good. So whatever it is. Yeah. Sweet. Okay. So focus. focus. There we are. I'd love to hear a message from my guides too, from Gigi. Oh, Gigi. Oh, your energy is so lovely, honey. I just felt like somebody pulled, this is the image I saw. Okay. And I'm going to call it beautiful. It's in America, because Gigi's not in America, on Thanksgiving, everybody roasted turkey, right? So when I tapped into your lovely energy, I felt like I was basting in love, and I saw somebody opening the door, pulling out the roasting pan, lifting the lid, and there's this beautiful golden turkey resting in its throne of a bath of deliciousness coming out of the oven. And the turkey was so happy and comfortable to be there. So it was like this unveiling energy for me. Boom. And there I was in the roaster, just so delicious and happy. So that's the first thing I got. Karen, do you have anything?
I did get something. I got, I want to say, don't worry about things happening too fast or anything moving too fast right now, because if things just start happening, I almost want to say don't push things too quickly, because they could lead to disappointment, or it's almost like, I kind of want to say it throws a ship off to where, like, if you hit a ship too hard, it's going to go like this. But just remember, right now is about being grounded and stable. So if there's something that seems boring, just kind of lean into it and be like, that's what it is for now. Don't try to change anything too quickly.
And they asked me to go to the Kanzari deck and pull a couple of cards for you. And they're giving me a quest here with these cards. So, and again, you can let us know down in the bottom if these things are making sense. Although I would be really interested to know if anybody's going to relate to a roasted turkey. So this deck, the Kansari deck, is all about, this is the deck you use when you're having a seance and you want to know, you're asking spirit what's going on. So I got the first card, electromagnetic, and also the direction of north. So electromagnetic, north, future, letter Z. I'm not sure what's going on there, but then we have forest. So, yeah, and I am not going to go down the road of the generalized reading about spending time in nature. To me, they're talking about in the future that you are going to be guided into a direction that this is going to make sense, but it's not going to make sense today. And the more I talk and the more I say, the more I'm going to sound like somebody that you paid $10 on the pier to do a reading, and they're trying to ask you if you know somebody with a name John Smith. And we're not going to do that. They even want me to put the cards away. They're saying this is going to make sense to you down the road, but it's not going to make sense today. And they're saying even to just jot it down somewhere and just throw the piece of paper in a corner, and you forget where it is, and you discover it someday and say, oh my gosh, really? That was 6/21/22. What do you know about that? They want you to just kind of put it off to the side and forget it. It's going to make sense in the future. All right, I'm going to whip down to the bottom here real quick. And okay. I'm so lost in the chat now. This is hilarious. Yeah, Kristen is just below Gigi. Any messages from my pagan ancestors, either Scandinavia or Ireland?
Oh.
And they want Karen to go first on this one. They're not sending me in a direction yet. Oh, yeah. No, they have sent me in a direction. But yes, feel free.
Okay. Very interesting. Because I immediately, before I looked up, I had Fey energy. I had fairy energy, which I think is a part of it's very interesting. I don't know where that fits, but here's what I want to say. I feel like you're getting sort of a psychic upgrade or something. We call it an upgrade or a download. One of those two is going on right now. If your emotions are a little more unstable now than usual, that is just what's going on. It's sort of an upgrade like that. And when it's done, you're going to feel back to normal. I don't know if that fits, but that's exactly what I felt like. Like if you feel like even now you're not sleeping right or something, there's some sort of an upgrade going that is upsetting your system, just hold on. That is going to balance out. Nothing is wrong.
Okay. Which this is interesting because when I said they weren't giving me anything, then they immediately gave me the root chakra. And this is all about sense of safety. Yeah. So, where is it? What is it that's going on that you feel this sense of not necessarily feeling safe? Is it because this is the question for you, because they want you to look at these two things and not answer the question. They want you to do a little bit of investigation. Do you feel unsafe because of the things going on around you in the outside world? Does this stem from childhood and your sense of safety and security? Or are you feeling unsafe for all the directions you're going at once? How many different things are happening in your life simultaneously that make you feel scattered about and not necessarily whole? So, questions to look at. And again, I'm trying to make up, trying to keep up, but this is already pretty lost. Okay. And, we're 5 minutes away from the bottom of the hour. I don't know. I think Karen's probably shot. She's had at least, how many readings have you done today?
5.
So this is number 6.
I have a show. Yes, I have a show tonight too.
And you have a show tonight. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me see if there's anything.
I'm 57 and I'm living like I'm 20. Endless energy.
I'll tell you what, I'm envious of that. Wow. I never really got my mode.
I think I have a siren coming, so I may mute for a second.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm completely lost in the chat. We've only got 5 minutes left. So unfortunately, I'm going to call it at this spot, because I do want to kind of wrap up with Karen and just kind of let everybody know where to find you. So where is your show tonight? Oh, she's still got her siren. Okay.
They finally went by. Tonight I'm up in Rome, New York in a horrible bar. But if anybody wants to see my shows in Halloween weekend, I'm at Zany's in Chicago. In September, in August, I'm in September, I'm in Las Vegas at Brad Garrett's club. Before that, I'm at the Alameda Comedy Club. Go to KarenRontowski.com and you can sign up for my email list, or you can see me on Instagram at Rontowski. And I think that's good, right? You can book a reading there. You can take my tarot class. All that stuff is there, whatever you need.
Yeah, and her website link is in the description here on this for this broadcast. Yeah, and also her podcast there's a new posting every Friday, just about every Friday.
Yeah, Paranormal Karen, and you're going to be back on. And actually, Betsy will also be in my Patreon. I have a tarot Patreon if anybody wants to join.
Yeah.
There's 4 tarot classes a week, or a month is one level, or the card of the day. There's a whole Patreon /Rontowski. That is a very fun for $10 or $3 or $15 a month. You get a whole bunch of content. If
that's
you're
right,
crazy.
And the link is on your website for that too, isn't it?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
That's cool. And you guys, I know we always talk about trying to do a mediumship class online. I have not figured it out. I am so sorry. If anybody can figure that out, because we come together for the class time and then everybody needs to split up and do readings together. If anybody can help me figure this out, please let me know. I just can't figure it out. But I would love to do this with everyone. It would, it's what I love to do the most. And of course, there's my book on Amazon. But yes.
Can I make a suggestion? Because, and your people would love this, is Patreon is a place to do that, because not only can you do live readings, it's a little bit each month. You're not, it's $5, $10, $15. But also when I teach a tarot class, I will say, new readers, do you want to read for somebody you don't know? Leave your email and they can contact each other and do readings for somebody they haven't met before that would be supportive. And through Patreon, though, you could teach live, and other people could watch it later if they wanted, but you could connect people with people.
I'm going to investigate that. Thank you. Cool. All right. And is there anything else you would like to add? Hey, Karen, anything else?
No, I'm good. If you look for me under anything, just look for Rontowski. It's on Facebook. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Cool. And I just can't thank you enough for being willing to come on here and fly by the seat of your pants on my live chat. I really appreciate it so much. I'm such a fan. And, Yeah. And thank you. This has been a real gift for me. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And not to drag anything out, but you, in your little 30-minute talk that you and I had, I think you helped me grow leaps and bounds. I mean, like, I think you opened doors that other people couldn't. So I am probably going to push you to get on Patreon.
Okay.
Because I think
Please
you
do.
need to be pushing there. Yeah.
Please do. Yeah, I can use all the encouragement and the pushing on that. I'm a tasky person. If somebody tells me how to do a task, I like to do it. So
Yeah. And you come on mine, because we have to have you on this month, because it's mediumship month there.
okay, this is exciting. Perfect. And for everybody in the chat, thank you guys all so much. I know I have been absent from YouTube for a really long time, and the fact that you guys are all here watching today, it means so much to me. I cannot express my appreciation deeply enough. And yeah, on that note, we have 10 seconds left. So I will say to everyone, thanks again, and a hooey ho. I'm going to end the broadcast now. Yay! All right, Karen, stay on. I'm going to end the broadcast now, though. Bye, everybody.